Welcome back to another episode of Unhinged Bookish Thoughts with Liz and Karrie. This is our part 2 of the Villains and Vixens authors. We are going to be doing episodes, interviews every month leading up to the event that Liz will be signing at. LB August, actually. And I'm an influencer for, or like whatever that means. But
well, I don't know. What is an attending author? I don't know. I say that, and I have events all the way through the end of the year, and that I'm a signing author.
You are booked and busy.
And I'm like, I don't even know. I don't even know. I'm an author? What? Nobody knows that. Don't tell them.
But yeah,
keep it to yourself.
We got to sit down with, technically five, because you included authors,
co-authors.
That's correct, and it's been amazing, and we had a lot of fun.
Were we counting me? Because then it'd be 6.
6
Am I counting
incredible authors. Liz forgets that she is an author, so
yeah,
you can say 5, but yes, 6. And we had a lot of fun. It was a great conversation, and we're really excited to meet these lovely human beings. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. But we hope you enjoy the episode and learning more about these authors that you will get to meet if you are attending Villains and Vixens, which is going to be in Dallas, Texas, September 5th and 6th at the Gaylord. So
at the Gaylord.
I don't know why I'm doing this. We hope to see you there. Enjoy the episode.
Welcome back, everyone. And so we're going to first start out by introducing you to all of these lovely authors that we're talking to tonight. So, Anne and Mary, if you want to go ahead and get started first and let us know, who are you and what are your books?
Hi. So we're Mary and Anne. We are co-authors and besties of over 12 years. We write fairycore urban romantasy with a little grit and heartache. And our current series is the Shot in the Dark series, which we pitch as Supernatural meets Ferngully. Books 1 and 2 are out now. Book 3 is coming hopefully early next year. And then we have a novella set in that universe releasing this fall. So a lot of fun stuff and a lot of excitement for everybody.
Perfect. Love it.
Hi, my name is Brea Lamb. I write dark romantic fantasy. I only write that. I just don't have the capacity to write contemporary or anything cool like that. So I stick to my genre.
Beautiful book.
I wrote the Coveted series. Thank you. I wrote the Coveted. 3 of the 4 books are currently published as of right now, with 4 hopefully coming out December. We'll see, because I started a new trilogy called Darkness Reigns, and book number 1 of that comes out in August. I'm really excited about that. It was kind of a surprise for me that I just came up with in November. And it's about a world where they worship the stars. It's a morally black world, and they'll do anything to entertain the stars no matter the cost. And it's set in a kind of like a magical military academy. It definitely has like, I say that the romance is inspired by like my favorite romances that never were, like Katara and Zuko and Draco and Hermione and Caroline and Klaus. So I love getting to write about that. And then it kind of has like the politics and the political intrigue of like the Hunger Games, which my babies, I love those.
Wonderful.
You got me. You got me.
Karrie's like, sold. Give it to me.
Very excited. August.
You got me too. Send information, please. Hi, I'm Mariet Kay. I am an adult fantasy romance author. My debut is a loose Rapunzel retelling called Born of Starlight. Oh, you have it.
I do.
Look at that. I love seeing it on other people's shelves. I got started in my author career in around 2021. I started writing Born of Starlight, so I'm relatively new. But I spent a career in corporate copywriting, so writing other people's not fun stuff for a long time, and finally decided to write for myself. And it's been a really fun journey. I actually started with trying to write a contemporary romance, and it got really mystery heavy and murdery very quickly. So I then started writing fantasy romance. I loved the magical elements and how much flexibility there was. And I've been there ever since. I just released my 2nd book at the end of last year, and the 3rd book in that series is coming out sometime early next year.
Fantastic.
Love this.
I feel like
I
that
love
is
this.
exactly what would happen with me in contemporary romance, where like somehow there would just randomly be a murder and you're just like, that came out of nowhere. And I'm like, well, that's just what happens in my brain. It's okay.
Same.
All of a
Oh
sudden
my
they use
gosh, same.
magic.
Yeah, just like
Yes.
randomly. It's like, oh, how did that happen? Well, you know what?
Shadows.
Just out of nowhere.
Someone just has a sword come out and you're
You
just
know.
like, wait, what?
That's
Yeah, it got
exactly.
weird fast.
Mhm.
My name is Monica Amore, and I write dark fantasy romance and also dark Western fantasy romance. So I published Flame Under the Moon in 2024 on a full moon, because I'm a full moon girly, and I also published Last Ride of the Umbra Fae. There it is, my babies.
Got both, but you had that one.
I
In
love this.
February. Also on a full moon. So I do everything. I'm a very like foreshadowing Easter egg kind of author. I guess I'm considered a dark writer, very emotional. My females are powerful. The MMCs are very swoon worthy with like absolutely filthy mouths, and so that's just kind of what I write.
Love a filthy mouth. That's what we need all the time.
Definitely.
So I'm going to kind of put these two questions together because I think they can kind of go hand in hand. When was the moment that you said, I'm going to try and publish a book? I'm going to sit down and write. And then what was that journey leading up to publishing like for you?
Okay, so ours is really interesting because we initially, like we said, so we've been writing for 12 years. So that for us, rewinding 12 years, we're going to date ourselves a bit. That was like senior year of high school, late high school. And I'm like, am I right, Anne? Yeah. And so we basically in the beginning, it was we were writing just for us. And I think I found out that KDP was a thing, and it was still very new. That was like 2017. And we had just finished writing the very, very old version of Shot in the Dark, which it's changed so much. I mean, obviously we were like kids, you know, but at the time I was so proud of that. And I figured out how to do book formatting. I have a BFA like in arts. And so I'm a very creative person, and I have all these, I'm like a jack of all trades. So it's like, I'll just figure it out. And so I figured out how to do cover design. I figured out how to fit the templates. So I just made one for us, and I fell in love with that so much. And then I think, you know, from there over time, just that dream and kind of seeing how very slowly indie publishing was like getting picked up in those times. And then honestly, we took a long break from it. We did like one book in 2017. Again, we were quite young. And then we took a long break, and it wasn't until 2023, 2024 when I think I kind of had a come to Jesus moment where I'm like, I literally have like a corporate job right now, and all I can think about is writing. All I can think about are these books. And like, I just like, I feel like at a certain point, and a lot of people who do this passionately and with ambition feel like it's not like a want, it's a need. I have to tell these stories because they're like eating me alive in the best way. And hopefully, you know, they sell and other people like them. And that's the dream. So it was around 2022, and I know this is a very long answer. It was around 2022 that after all these, like a decade of writing the Shot in the Dark characters, Anne and I kind of had a breakthrough of how to completely change the main storyline to make it way more marketable. As soon as Anne was signed on, I was like making the outline for the entire series. And from there, once we actually started writing Shot in the Dark, it only took us 3 months to write it. And it was like, you know, we weren't sure we were going to keep going after that. And we were like, if it flops, we'll go back again. And we're not going to self-publish anymore. We're going to just go back to doing it for us. But luckily the reception was like really, really good. And yeah, so now we're here. Now we're going to keep going.
I love that. That's so awesome. I love that so much. And it's so cool. Like you guys kept going. It's because it's hard. I feel like everyone could agree with that.
Yeah.
It's so hard to like, I mean, even when you're doing well, sometimes it's like, why keep going? Sometimes it's like, oh, because I want to. I love this.
Yeah.
I think that stood out to me in your answer was when you said it became a need. And I think when you have all these other factors of publishing that come into it, sometimes that like spark and that need can like kind of die away from from what we've seen, or as a reader, what I've seen you authors kind of go through, you know? So getting to hold on to that creativity and that need it's incredible. And I'm grateful that you guys still are pushing forward and writing.
Thank you. Yeah, it is honestly it's still hard. I don't think it'll ever, and from what I've been seeing, you know, I think the biggest thing, like if I could go back and do something different, was be to like, I see a lot of people who like, you know, if they published more recently in 2024, 2023, they had been doing like all this research. And I kind of just like brute forced my way into the first book. And now I'm like I learned so much through that and networked and stuff. I wish I had started doing that like in 2020. But, you know, it is what it is. And we just can move forward from there. But yeah, it's a journey. And I think, you know, just got to keep moving forward and counting our blessings.
So for me, I actually started writing. I'm 27. I graduated in 2016, and so I was like the One Direction era. It was just like my thing. Like
I was like,
I'm
Karrie,
still so in love.
Karrie, One Direction. Karrie's like,
I just love Harry Styles. But One Direction was like my life, and I started when I was like way too young to be writing dirty stuff about Harry Styles on Wattpad.
Oh,
like
yeah.
12.
It's a rite of
And that's
passage.
what
I was reading that so much.
Oh, the Dark was so good. The vampire ones were. Anyways, though. Okay, so I'm sorry. So that's what I started writing, and I had written like little books before then. My mom saw like the printout of like the book I wrote when I was 9, the book. But that was when I was like, oh, I love this. And then I've struggled with depression and anxiety my entire life. I mean, my mom was like, you're the most stressed out toddler I've ever met. And it's just been bad my whole life. And so I always like put it off when I'd get kind of too overwhelmed or too sad or like too unwell. And then after I had my second child, who's 3 now, I was having really bad time sleeping, and I was having really weird dreams because I wasn't really sleeping. And I had a dream about one of the most important lines in the Coveted series, which is being powerful means you're coveted, but it also means you are feared. And that was like, I don't know why it was so different, but that was definitely like my driving moment where I was like, I'm gonna publish these books. And so I used the time when I wasn't sleeping, because I wasn't, and I wrote and I outlined. And I did the same thing that you two did. I outlined the whole series first.
Yeah.
And that's why there's so much foreshadowing. You can do so much foreshadowing if you do prep like that. Not that that's the only way to do it, of course. But yeah, I was like, oh, they'll know everything by book 1. And I went like, pardon my French, balls to the wall. I was like, and so that was really my driving force. And it was something that like, it helped me. So my books are definitely most well known for their mental health rep. That's probably the thing that people talk about the most out of everything. And the reason for that is because I just poured a lot of my own like personal trauma and then like healed alongside my main character. And so it kept me moving. So book 1 took me 5 months. Book 2 took me 3 months, but then book 3 is really, really heavy. And that one ended up taking me like 7 or 8 months. And that was when I almost quit. I was like, maybe this isn't for me. Like, this is really emotionally hard for me. And I kept going. Now I'm out the other end. So I guess I'll keep going.
I guess so.
I love the healing with your your main character. I loved that. I love that so much.
I love that too. It's such an interesting thing how our own mental health and the things that we are going through find a way to leak onto the page sometimes too. And not even how you would expect them in some ways. I don't think that when I think about if there was a moment that I decided to be an author, there really wasn't. I've always gravitated towards writing. I too was a fanfic writer in my youth. Yeah, of course. Everyone was on. I think mine was Live Journal, but I'm a little older than you. So, but I think that when it really clicked, I wrote a lot of poetry in college, so I was published in my like college literary journal and things like that. But I never thought about writing a full-length novel until I was in my 30s. And that's a weird time to just decide to up and write something. But I did it. And I honestly didn't even really know at first why I was doing it. It was just an outlet. I was experiencing some very severe corporate burnout at the time. I worked in marketing agencies. And if you've watched Emily in Paris, they are nothing like that. That's not how your day goes. It's not magic all the time. And I was just really struggling with where my career was at, where I was going, working way too much, way too hard for other people. And I think it was just part of like a center of control. Like it was something I could control, and it was something I could build myself, and it was something I could do for myself. And then I looked at it and I'm like, okay, I was like, I think I actually like this enough that I could let other people see it, which is a hard moment when you're a debut. And I had no intent of querying it either. Like, so I didn't even try the traditional route first. I just sort of sent it into the world and hoped for the best. And it's gone well. And I caught the bug, and I'm still here, and I'm still trying and still writing. And I can't imagine a world now where I wouldn't be writing, or I wouldn't have stories to tell. But I do remember, interestingly enough, I got happy hour with a coworker like a year after I had published Born of Starlight, and a coworker from that agency. And she's like, so you're telling me you wrote a story about a woman who's trapped in a tower and working for the realm and doing absolutely nothing for herself. Can you tell me what you did there? Can you tell me what your brain did there? So it was just an interesting revelation of, oh, I might have self-inserted a little bit into that story.
I was going to say that. I was like, wait,
just a touch.
Stuck in the corporate world. Relatable.
And I still am. I still work a corporate job, but a different one that's much less taxing on my overall mental health.
Yeah. Protect your peace at all costs, wherever you can. So important.
Exactly.
100%. So I just want to say, Brea, I'm so glad you didn't give up, because you're a phenomenal writer, and I'm so proud of you. And I also resonate with you, Mariet, where you said, you decided to publish, you felt like, you were in your 30s. Like A Flame Under the Moon was published when I was 41. And so for me, like a lot of people were like, why the change? And I was like, I spent most of my life people pleasing and like doing for my family, doing, being the best mom I could be, provider. And I just really felt like these stories came alive. Like I couldn't sleep well. Like, you know how it is when you're an author. It's like 3 a.m, you're trying to sleep, but like you have these like dreams and these visions and these voices. And so you just have to kind of follow like that. And so I always say I've been like following like the Stardust, but I've only been published for like, I think a year and like a couple months now. Definitely have things that you learn, but for me, like the aha moment of like, okay, I'm going to really do this is just one of those moments where I felt like I was in a space where if I didn't tell this story, I was gonna like, I just needed to like have that, I know it's so weird because I have a hard time describing things, but when it comes to like talking about my books, but it's just basically one of those moments where like these females are not gonna stop until I tell their story. They're all powerful. And even Karrie, she's been here with me. Like she was one of my alpha readers for both of my books. And so she's, I've always like really valued like everything she says. And also I've probably broken her heart like so many times before. So, yeah, it's just, I'm just really, like you said, I can't picture my life right now not writing, because it's just, I guess I kind of found my calling. I have a little bit of college, but like I said, it's just, I've learned a lot of things, and I'm just a really emotional writer, and I just kind of like go off of.
You've broken my heart in the best way possible, and I accept it arms wide open. I tell that to Liz as well. I'm like, hurt me. It's okay. I'm ready.
Yeah.
You frequently say, just hurt me. Make it hurt. And I go, okay. And then I give you stuff from the second book, and you're like, why are you like this? And I remind you, you asked for this, woman.
Hey, ow, that hurt.
You wanted it.
So I guess I would love to know, it's kind of a hard question to probably nail down, but what are some of the challenges that you've had on your journey, and then some of the rewards as well? And some of that can even probably go hand in hand, but I'd love to know that part of it too.
Yeah, that is a hard one to nail down. I feel like the easy answer is marketing, and I think that's like everybody's answer. It's like marketing is hard in a saturated market. I think I hope it's not like a common answer, but like, I think marketing and then like imposter syndrome is very, very easy to do because, and I'll be honest, that was one of those things like when I first came into the scene, kind of just like blindly, people were like, oh, imposter syndrome this, imposter syndrome that. And like, I did not fully understand until going through like the writing process over and over. And once you start getting that rhythm and you're like, oh, part of the process is thinking that I am absolute garbage and like that I should just delete everything. You know what I mean? Like and I was like, got it. So I think that's definitely been a struggle. I think another challenge, just like as a person, and Anne just is so amazing at like not helping me stay in check, is like not comparing yourself. I think that's something I still struggle with like every day. But I firmly believe that like you get back what you put out, like kind of like karma, where it's like if you are constantly like jealous of people and like just envious, that's not going to propel you. That doesn't serve you and it doesn't serve them. And I firmly believe like a rising tide like floats all boats. Like there's room for everyone to succeed, and we are co-workers, not like competition, and our colleagues, not competition. Like we're friends, we're buddies. We're all just like writers and readers and like vibing with like our crazy characters. So that's really like how I see it. And like so I think that's also been like a journey for me, because I think when you first start and you're, again, so many things I would have done differently, but you're starting from like the ground and it feels like unattainable to climb a mountain, and you really just have to do it one step at a time. So that's been a challenge, I guess. And then I think just figuring out like some of the pieces, like with Ingram Spark, like there's been challenges like with fulfillment and figuring out how to control, basically like understanding like you're trying to do, it really is self-publishing, like you're truly doing distribution and like that timeline. And like I think if you've ever had to explain it to a family member, it really made me feel better about myself when I saw like their face just like glaze over and they're like, I have no idea, you've completely lost me. I'm like, why does it have to be this timeline? Why does it have to be in this format? And I'm like, so yeah. So those are a couple things I think that have just been like a challenge, but overall, like I think having a community exactly like this is really where like those things seem a lot more like surpassable.
Yeah.
You took the words right out of my mouth about imposter syndrome. That was exactly the answer that came to mind as soon as I heard that question. I think that's something especially as a kid, when we read books and we see authors, we think, okay, that is a professional person. This is a magical person. They just write. They just write and write and write, and they never question themselves. But after, going through several books now, writing for 12 years, really having all this time and space to grow and, really polish up our craft, a big challenge is feeling, even though we have drafted before, even though we have done a second draft before, it truly feels new each time. Of course, it's hard to see the growth in the moment, but I think that we all end up looking at the document and being like, oh, I forgot how to write. I don't know how to write anymore. I failed. I don't, I've lost touch. I'm unable to do this anymore. Like I have brain worms, like there's something wrong with me. So I think that that's definitely one of the biggest challenges, but the reward is, you keep pushing through, trust yourself, and then you still end up with your product at the end.
Yeah. Well, I didn't even speak to the reward. Yeah. I like our readers and like the community, hands down. I'm going to stop talking, but like.
You mentioned the community. You did it.
You got it. Okay, good. Yeah. But like, especially our readers, like I will say like just some of the most amazing people. Yeah, so grateful every single day.
I'm not ruling out the brain worms though, just saying.
No, I'm like, do I?
I think in this process of us getting to do interviews as well, from a reader's perspective, every time I open a book, I have like a different perspective going into it. It's like, this is your labor of love. It's a piece of you that you're giving to us. And I feel like when you are in a genre that has now exploded even more, especially in the last few years, every voice matters, and every moment that these characters experience is going to hit a reader different. So I thank you guys again so much for like pushing through some of the walls, and mental health is a big thing, because there has been so many times that as a content creator, I've wanted to step away, but then I'll read a book and I'll be like, this is why. You know what I mean? So many times people reading your characters are doing that for them as well.
Thank you. Yeah.
That's beautiful. Thank you.
Exactly it.
Thank you.
I told you guys, I get sappy and I love it. So
You're gonna make me
prepare.
cry.
You're gonna make me cry.
I love to hype up authors, and this is like truly, it truly is great having you guys here. So
true, especially when you're in the Google documents. I live and breathe for your comments. You know, I'm like, what is she gonna say about this scene? I can't wait till she gets there.
Emotional support beta, I think, is what someone told me once.
Yes.
Was I am the emotional support beta. So
I do too. I think Monica's kind of my emotional support beta.
yeah.
She's reading my newest book right now, and I was like, this is trash, Monica. You have no idea. I was like, Monica, don't even read it.
The
I was
best.
like, we'll see.
Now you're gonna make me cry too. It's phenomenal. Like I am blown away. I obviously I can't say too much about it right now, but it's holy shit, you guys. So proud of you.
See?
Y'all aren't ready for this one. She's coming whether you're ready or not.
You see what I'm talking about? It's so good having her in your docs, guys. Invite her. Invite her. She's like, wow. I'm like, ah. I would say, okay, so you know what? Anne and Mary both said it when they were talking for the first question, but I was the same way when it came to just publishing. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't do any research. And mind you, this was in 2023. I had the resources. I just didn't look for them. And I was like, I didn't know anything about anything. I didn't know anything about Book Talk or Bookstagram. Didn't know anything about KDP. I was just like, I need to publish a book. And so then I did. And I think that was a really, really important lesson. And I'm happy I learned it early on, even if it hurt, because I failed for the first year. Like, I mean it when I say for all of 2023. I mean, I had people who were finding it, and I was so grateful for every single reader, but I'd go days on end without an order or a single page read on KDP. And fighting to keep writing. It's so hard to explain what it's like to write a book as you're failing. Like as the book before that, because you're writing book 2 and book 1 is just epically failing. And you're like, why am I writing book 2? And it is such it's humbling, but I think like I started with like 0 followers on both of my platforms. I had anybody I met reading it was early on. I didn't know what an alpha or beta reader was. I didn't even know what an ARC reader was. And I learned it all like step by step, day by day. And so that kind of is a reward in and of itself, because like I see this upcoming release and I'm like, well, dang, it's getting better. And so even on days where I feel like I'm failing, I'm like, okay, but remember day 1 or month 1 or year 1. I'm like, I'll never forget that hell. And so it kind of like propels you, because it's not linear. The growth will never be linear. You'll always have days where you're like, well, why was it going backwards? But you get to like sit back and say, oh my gosh, but remember when I cried because I got 10 page reads that day? And it makes you feel so much better. And so I'm always like, you know what? Sometimes it's nice to fail in the start, because if you are strong enough to keep going, mind you guys, I did it with depression and anxiety, severe. If you need help, I'll encourage you, because I'm telling you, you can do it. But if you can push through it, it is the most like incredible, inexplainable feeling when you do succeed and you're like, wait a second, maybe I'm cooking. And it feels really good. And the readers, of course, I do agree. I think that because of course, like you can write 30,000 books, and if no one reads them, what does it matter? But every single reader who's ever messaged me has like propelled me forward. And it was in that first year when I was failing, it was every reader who randomly managed to like get a hold of me who was like, wow, kind of good. And I was like, oh, okay, let me write a chapter. And that's what got me going. That and a lot of rock stars, lot of energy drinks.
One thing about me, I love to slide into an author's DM, and a paragraph long messages. I'm like, hey, I cried at this page at this time of night. I just want you to know. And
here's my unhinged comment from page 47. I was up till 3 a.m. sobbing into my Kindle.
Yeah.
It keeps us going.
It does.
Yeah.
You guys
those are
don't
the best.
understand your power.
Like, hands down, I love them.
Readers
Absolutely.
don't.
Noted.
You guys don't understand. You are powerful. If you were in a fantasy store, you guys would be like some kind of god or maybe a demon, depending on your personality. You guys are like the most powerful things in existence. You have no idea. You can make or break someone every day.
So true.
Yeah, you are the dream reader.
Thank you.
I'm going to start with the rewards and positive because I think I am basically going to say exactly what Brea said, is getting to see people react to the story that you wrote or react to the characters that you created in your brain is just such a wild thing. That's such a wild experience. And then the second, like, very vain thing is holding your book for the first time. I find that so rewarding. Even if no one read them, I'm pretty sure I would still keep printing them just so that I could hold it. But
Yeah.
the the challenge side, the flip side, at first, I think my biggest challenge was, yes, not knowing anything, but also knowing absolutely no one. So not having those forces of motivation and people in my corner to ask questions if I needed answers or just run something by. And those people are really hard to find, even though the internet's so vast. It's really hard to find those people that will always kind of be in your corner and cheerlead, or be there when you just need to vent. So it really does feel like when you publish your first book, if you don't know anyone, you're like, you found your way into like the wrong high school reunion. Like, everyone seems to know everyone. Everyone seems to like have a way to get their jobs done, and you just don't know how. But I found really kind people in this community, and Bookstagram especially. So I'm really excited that I get to meet so many of your faces that I see in like a little circle at the top of Instagram.
That's my turn. I'm going to echo what a lot of you said too. With the readers, you guys have so much power, and there's a lot of struggles that like we have to deal with behind the scenes that we can't even like express or talk about, and it's just like that heaviness sometimes that just constantly will weigh on you at like 2 a.m. So for me, I struggle with self-imposter syndrome like a fucking bitch every single day. And so it's always, really cool to like have a reader come into your DMs and they're just like all these moments that was really hard for you to write or really fun to write. And like they resonate with that on all levels. And it kind of just solidifies like, hey, like it makes you feel like, all right, I'm doing it right, and so it gives you life. Like, I've like this summer, I've done a lot of book signings and I have met a lot of people where like they've gotten emotional during scenes where I was emotional, and then we're crying together, and it's almost like, we're healing together within the pages. And that's just something that makes me feel like I found like this community of like found family, because growing up, like, I've had a very different, not the traditional or, just like a hard struggle without dabbling too much, but they give me life, and it's kind of cool to belong to that community. And when I first started, I was actually a bookstagrammer. So I had like, my friends, and I'm like, like one of my best friends for the longest time too, Selena, I'm like, hey, I think I'm going to write this book. Do you want to read it? And so it just kind of like, followed that. But I think the hardest part, like I said, self-imposter syndrome and feeling, days where you feel like you don't have anyone, but you do. And you can reach out, but then you don't want to bother people. Learning things the hard way. Like I think, Karrie, you remember, I was such, I didn't know much about publishing, and I was like, okay, I'm just going to get an editor and publish this. But like I had to have alpha readers, beta readers, and I didn't realize like how important that was. And she was like 100% all in, and she just like, everyone helped me, and it was pretty cool because I didn't think I would be able to find any people like at a certain like time frame. So it's the readers give me life, the moments. It's always good to like really sit down and self-reflect, make sure that you're doing self-care, because I burn out all the time. Like I had a hard burnout, I think at the end of May, and Brea, I was like in your DMs like once a week sobbing. I'm like, what am I gonna do here? But it's, like I always say, self-care is so important. I try to like remind myself of that because I'm always in my head and I always forget to take care of myself. But yeah.
Yeah.
I love that you said, readers give you life, because I think on the other side of it too, like, I don't even think maybe you guys realize that your story probably could have saved someone. They could have been in their darkest moment and they read your book and they were like, I needed this, and a side little note, I think, in terms of like readers connecting to authors, when I was alpha reading for Monica, a song came on and I remember I was reading a very intense moment for you and the song matched the moment so beautifully. And I voice messaged you and I was like, every time I hear this song, I am going to think of you and this moment in the book. And every time it comes on my Pandora shuffle at work and I just stop and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm back in my room alpha reading right now. So
and then Karrie all of a sudden is
Kelly
at her desk crying like,
yeah,
Monica.
and I am a crier. So,
very
but
much so.
I just think I do think that it's easy for me to say as a reader that there probably is way more pros than there is cons, just because I know how I feel when I'm reading your stories. You know what I mean? But regardless, I'm so happy that you pushed through those challenges and that you do have these rewards and that you guys have found your readers. And I hope that you find that you get an even bigger audience, especially like at Villains and Vixens. I cannot wait to see the lines at your tables. I will be that awkward one in line, like kind of waving. Now, let's try and do like a fun question. So now that we've hit you with some hard ones, let's see. Okay, I like this one. Is there a genre that any of you think that you might dabble in one day, or maybe not even publish, but have you ever had an idea of wanting to dabble in another genre?
Yeah, so that's actually our third project. Is we're starting another book that's actually a why choose. I don't know if I would say dark, but like you guys were saying earlier, like someone's gonna get murdered. That's exactly how I felt. So it's turning into like a murder mystery plus why choose romance set in the 1940s. So
I'm ready.
Why did my brain go Clue? Like a why choose, like a Clue kind of game, or like a train. I don't know, like somebody killed someone on a train kind of vibes. I'm like, I don't know. This is probably not it, but I don't know. I guess my brain is still in like the supernatural mode, and then I was like, oh yeah, like a murder mystery kind of thing.
Yeah, someone has to die apparently to get the
someone's gotta die. Always.
It is what it is. But yeah, so like actually I'm like intimidated but like excited to dive into that with Anne, because that is definitely like very different from what we write, but it's not something we don't read. One book that was actually really inspiring to do that was the Salt Kiss and Honeycut series by Sierra Simone. So good. So yeah, stuff like that. We might get a little, because our current series is very low to no spice, and I think it's always so funny. Like I don't know if anybody else in this chat like writes like low spice, and or like vice versa. If you write spice and you read not spicy, like it surprises some people sometimes when we write low to no spice, but then we're like, yeah, like why choose like poly, like give me everything, like nothing scares me. Dark romance, bring it on. So yeah, so I think knowing like I partake in that, like it's gonna be fun to kind of like try our hand at it and see what happens.
I'm so excited about
it. My calendar is marked. When you announce that, I am going to be first in line.
She's gonna be signed in like, remember talking about that with me? I need it now. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. We're just thinking that.
Mark it out.
Yeah.
I was like,
stay tuned.
Are you kidding me? I love that. Oh, it's my turn. Yeah, actually, I said I'll never do contemporary, and that's not in a mean way. I love a good contemporary. Ellie Hazelwood, my queen, my legend, my savior. Bryn Weaver, I love you. But I don't think I could do it. But there are different, like even the books, the trilogy that I'm writing now, I think the only one who could test this is Monica, but it isn't the same as what I normally write. It's much more like political commentary, especially I got the idea in November, and that'll probably tell you everything you need to know. But it's so much more political commentary than even my other one. And I was talking to Monica about this the other day. It's so much more in your face that it was making me nervous. I was like, I love it, but I don't know if anyone else is going to be like, gross, hate it. Why does everything have to be this way? And it's fantasy, but it's definitely a completely different type of fantasy than I've read or written. And so that was definitely a different step for me. And then after I finish with this, I'm planning comedic romantasy, I guess is what you could call it.
Fun.
And it's gonna be like a world set in like heroes and villains. And I got inspired by Megamind. And so it's the villain who's gonna be the narrator. And he's gonna live below a hero he rents the basement from, and the hero's always trying to be his friend. And he's gonna work at a bar that's called Heroes Bar, and he's in Villains Anonymous. And it's just going to be like this fun, because I love banter. Like my books tend to have a lot of banter. And I was like, I've never written anything low stakes in my life since me and Harry departed ways on Wattpad. And I feel like I want to. So that's my next step. I was like, this was my baby step, and that's going to be my big step. And it's going to be my first standalone too, because I've never done that either.
Kind of love the balance there though, because we're going to have like something a little more heavy, like you said, in your face. Love that. And then we're going to have something that's going to kind of be like a little sweet treat, fun laughter. So I'm excited. I am ready.
Carrie's like, write that down. Write that down.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that you said comedic romantasy, because I couldn't really wrap my head around my side project that I'm working on. So I will say I do write other genres. I don't know if I'll publish them. Usually the question is, I'm going to write the manuscript anyway for me, but I am working on a PNR rom-com, which is super fun and light and fluffy and pretty low stakes. I mean, it still has some death in it, because why wouldn't there be? It's me. But it is really fun to write and just kind of blow off steam, because I have all these really heavy world building stories in my brain. So just taking something that's contemporary and a little bit lighter has been fun to work on the side. But I will say my readers love my world building, and that's something that I always see them really gravitate and latch onto. So it's hard to think about whether I'll publish it yet. Either way, it's going to get written because it's in my brain and it needs to come out.
I want to read it.
Yeah, if you want to publish it, I will definitely be reading.
Even if you don't want to publish it, just slide it on over.
Careful what you wish for. I was going to say, it might just end up in your DMs like, should I do it?
Yeah. I'll give you my email after this. And I think, though, that's interesting too, and something that I always wonder is, as authors writing, if you have this like bubble of creativity, but you don't necessarily want to like dive into world building, maybe you're tired that day or something, do these side projects help you get that creativity out, and then even like give you some relief so you can dive back in? You know what I mean? So that is interesting that you said that.
My brain definitely works that way.
Yeah.
Like if I'm very, very stuck on a story, sometimes just writing 500 words of another helps me get unstuck on the story I was working on. It's not productive per se to, getting the third book done, but it's words on a page. So that's productive.
So I feel like I dabbled a little bit into dark Western, which is something that it just kind of like happened, I needed to write in a world where everyone was the villain. There's a lot of unexpected things. I needed a lot of like banter and tension. So like, with Last Ride of the Umber Fae, you immediately have that between like, the FMC and her forced bond with her Raven. We call him Crow Daddy, but he's like her bodyguard. And so, for me, I feel like, because I am writing 2 books at once right now, and I know that's kind of like really crazy, but my brain is just doing what it wants, and I just kind of have to follow what it wants me to do. But it's been really cool being in like this Western desert atmosphere. I've been bouncing back and forth between LA and I live in Michigan, and so I'm in the desert a lot. So I've just kind of like, when I go over there, I'm like doing content, I'm tapping in, harnessing into like the elements, the heat. Like I will literally walk down the street with my coffee and like my pencil. I'll be sitting in the desert doing some crazy stuff and just like plotting. I feel like maybe one day I might go back to the first book that I was writing, which is like a mafia romance with a little bit of fantasy. My first threads was a teaser from that, because I thought my brain was going to let me do that, but it didn't.
You got Karrie all hyped now. She's like, wait, what?
I know that you could write the shit out of a dark mafia I know you could do that.
That one, I mean, I was just talking about that with, I was at a bookstore. My husband was doing like a paint and sip sort of thing, and I was talking with the owner, and I was like, telling her a little bit about my past, and like, I kind of like sprinkles of my experiences, but like in a way where it's organic to the story and everything. But I'm like, I can literally do this, and I hope that one day I'll be able to go back into that story, because I think if I go back, I feel like I have maybe a couple chapters in it. It's like I would have to really scroll because it's pretty deep in there. But yeah, maybe mafia romance someday.
I'm ready.
I'm ready. You know what?
When you're ready, I'm ready.
Noticed, Karrie. I'm like, out of all the lists, like I'm listening to everyone like talk about like what books, like what genre they want to write, and I'm like, my entire list of like ideas, because I have a whole spreadsheet on the ones that I want to write. I'm like, one that's not on there is a monster romance, which is shocking to me because I read so much of it. You would think that I would want to write one. So I'm going to have to like maybe start trying to figure that out and like write it on the side as I write this next one.
Yeah.
Karrie's
Definitely.
like, let's go.
Start
I'm
that.
for that.
We're going to talk about that after this. We're going to talk about that.
Let me do that contemporary romance first, because I do want to finish that one up.
There's so many that I want you to write. I'm just like, hey, this idea came in. Can you please do this for me? Could you make this come to life?
I put it on the spreadsheet. It's fine.
So do you guys have a favorite trope that you love to write most, or even read? I don't know how often you guys have the capacity to read either, but do you have a favorite trope?
Ooh, I do love like Forbidden Love and Star-Crossed Lovers, and that is one of like the huge, like one of the biggest tropes in the entire series, Shot in the Dark series that we're writing now. Is there like this epic forbidden love on like a Will and Elizabeth level, like from Pirates, like that constantly, like everything is packed against them, and they still fight for like the chance just to be together, even for one day. I love that.
What's
I
that?
love that.
100% that too. For me, it's also the found family. Found family is
Yeah.
sucker for found family. Like any,
I know.
I mean, like, that's just me putting a sign around me that says I'm a queer person. Found family is everything to me.
I know. Oh my gosh, I
Banner.
always think of that. I think of that meme. What is it like? My child is fine. It's like, please, your child's favorite trope is found family.
Yes.
Like, she's not.
Yes.
It's that feeling of,
That's us.
choosing people and having them choose you,
Mhm.
and
Yes.
without the without feeling obligated. Like, it is just something that is that comes truly from the heart. It comes from shared trauma, or just genuinely loving each other without having a reason, like a practical reason to. And kind of in that same vein, that's why enemies to lovers also really is very appealing, I would say, because it's if your enemy ends up loving you, that means you must be pretty dang lovable.
This is true.
I just start crying. I just start weeping. I always love the found family answer, though. I love that.
Yes.
And like side characters, they truly can like elevate an entire story. And the found family element in the side characters, I love it. I love that.
It just starts getting scary if the side character starts suddenly getting a lot of screen time, a lot of pages. Like, I don't like where this is going.
This isn't really a trope, and this is more like, I guess, my jokey answer, so don't call anybody on me. But I love my characters. I love it. I don't know what it is, but I think like the impact of like reminding, especially in like my first series, it probably won't be as prominent in my new trilogy, but especially my first series, like I always tell my readers, I'm like, I won't guarantee you a happy ending unless, like, for those who survive, they'll be happy, but not everybody will survive. And I do love that like build up and that like not necessarily terror, but like the moment of saying, okay, enjoy these characters, enjoy this moment, but like be ready at any time. And so you made me think of that when you were like, except for when they get a lot of screen time. I was like,
Yeah.
oh yeah. And people joke around with me about that a lot. I got tagged in a meme the other day, and it was the Lord Farquaad one, where it was like, some of you will die, but that's it was like, but that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. And a girl tagged me in it, and she was like, you. And I was like, me. I shared on my story. I was like, ah. I would say that that's like, but I have reasons, of course. But like, I don't know. I just can't even explain. I'm like, oh, I should call somebody. But I guess my favorite trope, that's so hard because I think like found family is like my gut reaction to where I'm like, I love that for the same reason. It's like, oh my gosh, I was traumatized and I just love found family. But I also do like multifaceted characters, but to like the level that it's tropey, if that makes sense, where it's like this character is just like especially like my female leads, but really any of my leads, people are like, oh, they annoyed me here. And I'm like, well, I annoyed you the other day. And that's called being a person. And I love that part of getting to write and like writing these characters with depths and like they're fallible in more ways than one and they're just not perfect, and that's so fun and so exciting to get to like really narrate that from their point of view. And that's why I always write in first person point of view too, because I feel like it allows you to get into a different headspace, like directly into their headspace. So that would probably be mine if I didn't say found family.
I love that. We're gonna clip it of me just saying I love that every 5 seconds, but
well, it could be you doing weird hand gestures or saying coming every 5 seconds, you know.
Could
I
be.
do that on purpose.
I'm holding myself back.
I do love writing the found family trope too, and I especially love writing female friendships. There's a lot of female main characters in my first series, but I also just tend to love any trope that I'm writing at the time. So I like get on kicks where it's all friends to lovers or all enemies to lovers, and that's all I read while I'm writing it. And I've gone through a lot of phases, but this is not quite a trope. One of the things I love writing is the setup to a good twist. I won't tell you what kinds of twists, just for no spoilers, but getting to lay those little hidden gems throughout a story, and then the best message to get is, holy shit, I didn't expect that. That's my golden egg. If you can, if I can get someone, if they can not see it coming, I love that. And those are the stories I love to read too. So I love when there's like a real good twist in a book.
I used to be awful. I'll share this with you. Safe place. I don't do this anymore, I swear, but I used to read the last page of fantasy books. I don't know why I
Do
am
that.
the way I am, but I used to do that
all the
then be like,
time.
okay, I'll survive. This is going to be great. I'll survive. I just get, I have anxiety. So I think I just like get too nervous that I'm going to get so invested and be crushed, which now I just love. So, but yeah, I'm awful that way. But
she likes to spoil it for herself.
I do too.
I'm
I go
glad
on
he didn't do
Goodreads.
that to mine.
I'll go on Goodreads and I'll click the reviews that say spoilers. And I'm like, unspoil.
yeah, I will
And I'll
click
read
that so fast.
top to bottom. I'm like, oh my God, he dies.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I can't wait to read it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see you. I see
I do
you.
that too, honestly.
We are so opposite. I don't even read the backs of covers.
No.
I go all on
Same.
vibes. Don't even read the blurb. If it's recommended by a friend, I'll read it.
We are the
and
same.
Same here.
I think it's because I love that moment where you're not expecting something and something wild happens, or it's not what it seemed. So I struggle. I struggle with reading like anything about a book, which is why so many popular series have been ruined for me.
Oh.
I would have to say, you know, I love reading about like forbidden romance, but I've never written that before. It's more of like allies to lovers. I also really like plotting those plot twists that are going to make people like literally want to throw their book and scream. And I mean, Karrie can testify to that. Like, you know, the type where you're like, oh my God, like, what did you just do to my soul? You know, I like writing things like that. Also, you know, for me, I mean, I like writing spice. I'm a very spicy, you know, writer, and I get very detailed. For me, I just love weaving like the way I do it. You know, there's always magic involved, and there is like some sort of bond, and you know, even I like writing. I also like writing food scenes. I know that's not really a trope, but I get really into writing like how
Just
she's spreading her
food
butter and
world building is a trope because, and I didn't realize it was until like somebody slid into my DMs and was like, I love your food descriptions. they make me hungry, but they also like tell me a lot about like the world that I'm in. And I'm like, thank you, because as a foodie, I spent so much time like figuring out what food was going to be. Like my FMC loves like these fruit tarts, and her chef always makes them for her. And it's like, yes, because I wanted something just like random. And then there's like just random food scenes. I'm like, yes, because you have to eat.
You have to.
Gotta have that, like, they're very culture too. Like, food's a big culture thing. I'm like, you're not gonna be in like one kingdom and another and have the exact same food, because they have completely different like worlds. And I'm like, it's very unique to like these people. And so it is a trope. It is a huge world building thing too. So
That's good to know,
100%
because
agree.
that's what I
I love it. I love food descriptions. If you make me hungry, you win. Like every single time.
It's also just like a nice little touch. Like you're just reading about someone getting kind of like maybe stabbed a little, and then they're just having like a luscious tart afterwards. And you're like,
Yeah.
you know what? Thank you. I needed that moment to just recenter myself a little bit. But speaking of food though, do you guys, what's like when you sit down to write, do you have like, what do you always have like a snack next to you, or when you go into the writing cave, what do you do? What is the word I'm trying to look for?
A ritual.
Thank you. Yeah, what's your ritual?
Okay, I wasn't sure.
And you can take this one first.
I try to always have a cup of tea next to me while I'm writing. I just find it really, really comforting. Always water and tea next to me. And I know this isn't food, but like ritual, I do like to have a candle next to me as well when I'm writing.
Yeah.
What kind of tea?
I also, yeah.
Oh, I have this like variety pack of fruit teas right now. So I really, really dig blueberry tea.
Ooh, I love blueberry hibiscus tea. So good.
Yes.
That is so good.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anything fruity, I usually end up liking it.
Yeah, I was gonna say I have my little candle here too. Like I was just using this for writing earlier. Having a candle just makes such a difference. Yay, twinning. I feel like I'm the most productive lately writing in the morning, like almost first thing for some reason. I'm just like rearing to go. And so I like to have a nice cup of like hot coffee. And then if I'm done with my coffee, I have like this mushroom coffee. I always have to be sipping on something, but I do love like warm beverages or like a sparkling water. And I don't really eat when I'm writing because I'm nervous to get my laptop all like full of crumbs. But I think if I had to pick a treat, it'd probably be like a cookie or something like that.
Little sweet treat while you decimate people's emotions. Yes, they go together.
100%.
They go together.
Yeah, it's a balance.
It is.
I am the same. I'm bad at multitasking in a lot of ways. So like me, I can't like eat something and then eat and then this. I'm like, yeah, I'm the same way. I'm like, well, and then it's dirty and then I gotta get up and then I gotta wipe it, and then no judgment to anyone who does. It's just like a thing for me. So I feel you on that, where I'm like, oh, I don't eat, but I'll eat before. I'm like, now I'm ready, like a workout. Like I can't wait to, or like reward yourself after, like I'm gonna eat that cookie when I'm done. So maybe that, but I don't eat on my computer. Drink. I try. I'm like, I need water with a lot of ice. I need it. But then I end up drinking like the energy drink first. And then I'm like, oh man, I'm full. And I'm like, fine, a sip of water. And then I'm like dehydrated and dying. And I'm like, I'm done for the night. I don't really want to ride anymore. But I have a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old. And so we have karate and gymnastics, and I work and I'm with them. And I've gotten into the habit, like with my most recent book, this is something you'll probably notice as you go through it, Monica. You're going to see more typos because I was writing on my phone. Depending on like my mood, I'll open up my notes app or I'll open up my email and like email myself stuff sometimes for I don't know what reason. It just depends on like how much free time I have. I'll do it on the way to work too. I'll just be like, and then I said this. So editing is fun. It's like, so I don't always even have a snack or a ritual. I love that you have candles and like a space. I have a dedicated space. I just
never.
I don't know. It's hard. Yeah. And even when I sit there, I'm like, I don't want to write here. And I'll get up.
I relate to that very hard, especially because my space that I have is also my day job desk area. So I don't want to be anywhere near this space by the end of the day, most weeknights. So no ritual either. I am chaos.
You just raw dogging it, just going in like
yeah. And I either need like all of the stimulus or none at all. Like I either need to be in a deprivation tank, no noise, nothing going on. I'll yell at my husband that he's breathing too loud. Or I'm like at a busy restaurant and I have my laptop out and I'm doing just fine. And I don't really know. I don't know what the routine is. Sometimes I'm productive, sometimes I'm not. And I have just accepted that at this point. But I do love to have, if I am up on a weekend morning, I do love to have coffee while I write. I guess a snack.
Yes.
But I don't like crumbs either. My laptop's pretty. I want to keep it that way.
Oh my gosh, I feel so validated. I was like, am I weird for saying that? So thank you guys.
No, if you watch the last episode, no one ate at their computers. Like, I think we had 3 authors on, none of them. They're like, no, we don't like crumbs on our computer. And then I'm over here, like, my kid's, like, eating on top of it and, like, knocking my laptop off its stand and stuff. So I'm like, it is what it is at this point.
Yeah. I mean, again, like, it's all fine. Like, it's not the end of the world, you know?
Yeah.
I got crumbs. I got cat hair. I probably got, like, apple pieces. I stress eat when I'm typing, and then I have one of my cats sitting next to me, and I'm just like, okay, I'll pet him because I'm stuck. And then I get like easily distracted. And the thing is, like, my daughter's homeschooled. My husband doesn't wake up until like 2:00 in the morning. So I have the quiet time to do it, but my brain is just doing other stuff. So it's just like, you know, I mean, I have my office slash bedroom slash haunted library. I mean, I have it set up pretty cool. So that way I have that cozy atmosphere. Like I can literally light, like I'm an antique collector. So like, I literally have stuff like this I can write by candlelight to set the vibe. But then when I actually try to do it, like I'm just easily distracted. So I admire the fact that you guys can like go other places and do it, because I have to be so focused. And my husband's always like, well, honey, why don't you just like go in there and write for 30 minutes before we leave? I'm like, you don't get it. It's a vibe. And I can't. My brain is just
prepare for it. Like I have to work through the scenes ahead of time, and then I can finally sit down and work on it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's all over the place. I'm chaos. I'm unorganized, and any organization in my life is because of him keeping me on track, because like I'll even like forget to cook dinner and he'll just like already know what to do. So I'm like, okay. So I don't know. Yeah.
Man, you guys are my favorite couple.
So much.
Yes,
with
they are.
Needing it to be so particular in order to write. And like my brain is like, I have somewhere to be in 6 hours. I can't write.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Because I'm just thinking about where I need to go in 6 hours.
That one thing is like your whole day.
Yeah, I'll just have a very productive sit on the couch and agonize for 6 hours. You know, that'll help, right?
That will definitely get the words on page if I just like hyperfixate on my appointment in 3 days. Like I can't do anything.
Yes.
And is it the same thing if you have a shorter amount of time? Because I get that feeling too, where if it's 6 hours away, yeah, my day is done. But if I have somewhere to be in an hour, for some reason, I'm like, okay, I have 30 minutes. How many words can I get on the page? And for some reason, that hour is like my sweet spot of, I can get something done right now.
Yeah, no, I get that, because I feel like, you know, when I do have those 6 hours, I'm like, like part of it is also I have 6 hours. I can like jump into this at any time that I want, and then I don't. But yeah, if it's just that hour block, it's like, that's perfect. It's like I can work for that amount of time and not be completely drained. So
it's also a good
point.
Like, Anne, you were the one who showed me, because like I also have really bad ADHD. Like, I have to self-regulate myself, my schedule so much. But Anne's showed me like those Pomodoro timers, so I feel like that time frame kind of fits that. Like, you can only really give true focus for like 20 to 30 minutes, and then like you kind of have to step away or you will get distracted anyway. So like I feel like that kind of makes sense. Like maybe there's a method to the madness there.
So like shout out on YouTube to the channel called Pomodoro Crew, because they make these really, really cute like Pomodoro timers, and it's like each of them is themed around a different drink. Like right now I have one that's pulled up that's like a strawberry kind of drink, and they have like all these different like types of timers. Like some of them are 30 minutes, some are 45 minutes. but it has like some nice calming music built in, and it's like 30 minutes, then a 10-minute break. And I have been just like living by those for the past month or so.
Yeah. You're inspiring me. Like, how I need to get better still at like making a habit of it. But when I have used it, it has genuinely been so helpful, because I will tunnel vision on if I'm like doing a book cover or I'm drawing or like writing or whatever. I will just like, if I'm in the zone, I'm in the zone, and like everything else falls away, including drinking water. Maybe I need to check on the pets, you know, stuff like that. And so like it is really helpful.
Yes, those breaks are everything. And then before I know it, like 3 hours have passed. I have so much done. Yeah, it's good. Without you know, the crazy burnout that comes with working for 3 or 4 hours straight.
Yeah, exactly.
We are getting, you know, close to the end. So I did want to ask you guys some like signing related questions, just a couple, because we will be seeing you at Villains and Vixens. Obviously, Liz is going to also be an attending author. I am going as an influencer, whatever that title holds. I'm just really excited to promote and see you guys there. Is this everybody's first, or have you guys been to multiple signings? Monica and Liz, I know you both have.
Yeah, so we've done a few. And Anne and I, you can see we're not in the same room. Sadly, we are the forbidden love. We live, I live in Florida, she lives in Texas, and so we can't go off into the same signings. We've done a couple together, which are always like so magical. So we've done a couple in Orlando. There's a group called like Alexia. I've done a couple with them. We did Romanticy-Con last year in Orlando, which was like amazing. And we've done like a few, but this is our first time traveling like out of state, or like, I guess for Anne, like just the equivalent of a state.
I mean,
it's very far.
Yes, I'm in South Texas, so like,
that
like,
is
you're
another
in
state. That's a completely different state.
Yes.
Exactly.
I don't know
it's far
her.
enough. So it's our first time like really traveling, where it's not like a city we're already in, or like visiting her, visiting me. So we're pretty nervous about that, but also like really excited. I'm so excited to meet all of like our author friends, like all of you. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna be starstruck. Yeah, so we are a little nervous though. Like we're currently trying to figure out like how many books and how to get them there without losing money. So yeah,
high stress.
Yeah.
Fingers. I know we already answered that question, but like that was a big shift. Is like you start out where you're like, I just want to tell my story and I just want to like share my crazy characters, and then you wake up one day and you're like ordering inventory and managing like net versus gross income and expenses, and you're like, what, like, you know? And so yeah,
I'm trying to like balance what days I have to take off of work to go pick up these books, and also like go to events, and then like manage everything else, because like no one in my like real life knows about this. And so when I'm like, hey manager, I'm gonna randomly have to take a day off, I don't know when I get the call, I'll tell you. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm just, don't ask questions. I'm just gonna tell you now that I'm gonna randomly submit a day off. Okay, that's all you need to know.
Yeah. You have to tell them something mysterious, like I have a quest.
I have to go on a side quest in my life.
Quest. Yeah.
I'm doing something else. Yeah. And maybe not that many, but like I know I went to an event in Toledo, Ohio for the library, and I found out they had 2,500 people. I sold out in 2 hours and I had 30 books. And so they like definitely, even though it's like really 2 days, however many days we're signing and stuff, I'm like, I don't know how many I'm taking, but I'm going to take as many as I can, because I don't want to sell out. Like I do, but then I don't, because like I don't want to sell it the first day. It's like that weird balance, right? It's a lot of strategy.
It's hard to, it's hard enough when it's like in-person event, just to how much to even order. But then when it's like you have to ship them and someone's holding them and there's a fee and you're like, like, you know, it's that careful balance of like, I don't mind getting to say I sold out, but then I also, like you said, I don't want to sell out in the first like 45 minutes. So that would not be good.
Yeah. It's I've done Barnes and Noble signings. So I've never done, and I've done some where they paid for all of them on their own and I sold out that day. I've done them where I had a really sad one recently where it was just like I hadn't checked the Barnes and Noble first, and they just happened to be not one that was like really into fantasy. They had like one fantasy shelf and like 3 romance shelves, and it just wasn't like an area for fantasy. And I was like, oh, I ordered all these books and I sold 7. I was like, oh my god. So that balance is really scary, especially since this one will be my first convention, and then a month later I have book harvest.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh my God. And so I live on the East Coast. And so then I have to go all the way down to Texas, and then I'm home, and then a month later I have to go to Chicago. And I'm like, the benefit of Villains is that I can say, oh, all of this can then go to Book Harvest. So if I don't sell this, it's stock for next month. And then it gives me like the ability to kind of like, okay, gauge how much am I going to sell? And that like will kind of give me an idea, since from what I've seen, like they're about equal what I'm seeing in attendance. So that will be beneficial. But like Villains is the scary one in that way, where I'm like, I have to get all the way to Texas, and how am I going to do it? And how, like, I have to make sure someone's there for my kids and my dog. Got to take off work. Got to get to Texas. The book thing is so scary, of like sending them back. I'm even like, I've driven across the country multiple times. I've done it while I was 32 weeks pregnant. I've done it with 2 huge dogs, because he passed away, but we also had a German Shepherd that we rescued a year after we rescued our pit bull that we still have. And I have driven across country with them. And so like, I'm like, I could do it. And then I wouldn't have to worry about shipping the books. I wouldn't have to worry about anyone else touching the books, but I'd have to worry about driving.
Yeah.
And so I'm doing that, like weighing the pros and cons of, it'd be cheaper. I wouldn't have to worry about paying for my assistant's ticket, and I wouldn't have to worry about anything like that, and drive right to the hotel. But it is like a pros and cons thing, where you're like, is that going to be worth it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's hard.
It's very hard. I'm making a mental to-do list as you all are talking, because I also need to put in orders for special editions now that I'm thinking about it. I did a couple signings. The first one I did, I actually traveled for it. It was in Tennessee, and I was a baby author. I think I brought 30 books with me. I had like a table sign and a tablecloth, and that was about it. And it was so nice to get that experience of flying with all of my books, but also very scary at the same time. So I feel prepared, but I have not done an event to this scale before. So also absolutely not prepared at all. But I love hearing from you ladies that have done it. And I will be in your DMs probably asking more questions, Liz.
I will be too. I have
and this
no
is
list.
only yeah, and this is only my second event that I've had special editions, and they're heavy.
Yeah.
So I'm like, how am I getting these there? Shipping is so expensive. The gears are turning. Maybe I'll just have 7 bags on the plane with me.
Just
I
say
was
everything.
thinking about that too.
Yeah.
No,
I'm just
Monica,
gonna-
I'll swing around and get you.
I'm just going to ship everything to Karrie, and then she's just going to drive it for me. That's what my plan is now.
I am driving 13 hours. And I'm actually kind of excited though, because then I can pack more books in my car. So then I can just have a load of books with me. Very excited. And then I can come home with as many as I can buy. So
Karrie and I against the world.
Yeah. Yeah. Is other than all of us together, is there an author that you're excited to meet at Villains?
Oh my gosh, basically everybody.
The lineup is insane.
So many.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, I really think, again, like just like starting with this chat right here, there's a couple of like big names, obviously, that like that would be amazing. But in my heart of hearts, I know it's cheesy, but I want to meet all my author friends. Like,
yeah,
I want to meet y'all, and just like I want to give everybody a squeeze.
I'm looking forward to meeting Karrie for the first time in person.
It'll be our first time meeting. Yeah,
That's it. I'm not an author, but Karrie, that's mine.
Thank you.
I love that.
I feel that. I'm excited to meet Monica.
I'm gonna cry.
I'm so excited. There's so many authors that are coming to that one and Book Harvest where I'm like, you changed my career. Because I agree with like, when you start off, it was really hard if you didn't have anyone. And when you don't have anyone, it's like, I'm all alone in this. And then when you finally meet people, like you said, that it's like, wow, it's a whole community. And I don't know what was in the water on those applications, but it's like everybody I love. And I'm like, I'm going to be in heaven. And it'll be my first ever book con too in general. Never been to one. So I'm like, ooh, everybody. I don't even know how we're going to manage it, guys, because we're kind of going to be busy, but like,
We're
I
gonna
don't
make
know.
it
I'm
happen.
going to make sure
We're
it
gonna make
happens.
We'll figure it out.
We'll just take
we'll start
Karrie and just
rotating.
pass her around to everybody. Just, hey, Karrie, will you go get this signed for me? Or like, wave Ashley down and be like, hey, can you just watch my table so I can go like hug 17 people? I'll be back.
Yeah. I'll print everyone's little faces and put them on like a popsicle stick, and then I'll take them to your favorite authors and
just hold
get
them.
photos with them.
Yeah, just take a picture like it's actually us. Yes, we're going to make you do that.
Yeah.
Perfect.
My setup is incredibly easy to set up. So I am always set up within an hour.
Mhm.
And then I just spend the rest of my time just going around to all the other booths and kind of hovering and saying hi to everyone beforehand. Like, I don't mean to interrupt you, but also hi. And I love that I'm meeting you.
You're like, you want help unpacking? I will do that.
Yeah. No, I have offered. I'm like,
Let
I
me
have
just
hands.
touch
Do you
your
need
books.
hands? Do you need to lift anything? Yeah.
Yeah.
We are the found family trope is what I'm learning. We all are. It's going to be so much fun. I'm so excited to meet all of you. Thank you for, being with us for almost an hour and a half. It's been a great conversation. I wish we had all the time in the world to ask you more questions because I know we gave you a long list, but, and we would love to have you each on for like individual podcasts in the future. Absolutely. And definitely anytime you guys have something new, please send it to us. We want to make sure we are sharing everything that we can. Before we sign off, do you guys have anything that you want to promote before we end our chat for the night?
Or tell everyone, also, I guess, tell everyone where they can find your books at.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So you can follow us on Instagram and TikTok at authors.dublin.kendsley and subscribe to our newsletter for a free bonus chapter from our Dean Winchester inspired character's point of view. Our books are on Amazon, KU, Etsy, TikTok Shop, and most online retailers. Thanks, Ingram Spark. And then book 2, Hunted in the Shadows in the series, just came out. You can grab that, get your bonus chapter, get all that goodies in. And then the novella that is a standalone, it's like a dark fantasy horror romance in the same universe. That's coming out this fall. And pre-orders, I don't know when this is coming out, but pre-orders are actually live for book 3 early as well. So you can get the ebook early and just pre-order that and forget about it. And then Girl Math, it's free on delivery day.
Free.
So there you go.
Don't you guys have an audiobook coming out too?
We do. Thank you for reminding me.
Yeah,
we do.
You do. You're welcome, because I looked.
Yeah, thank you. We do. So that the release date actually just got changed. That's probably why I forgot to mention it. So it is now October 7th. So just in time for spooky season. And then we don't know about book 2's audiobook yet, but that'll probably be like early next year.
Exciting.
Excellent.
Oh my gosh, and the narrators are amazing. I told you guys about Honeycut by Sierra Simone. It's the same narrator. Her books are very spicy and ours are, but like it's the same narrators. So if you want a sneak peek at like how delicious their voices are, you can listen to those and blush like I did.
I love that. That's like a week before my birthday, so it'll be my birthday present.
Woo!
Stay myself. Don't you worry. I love that. My dogs do that too. Don't you worry. He just loses it. He's like, ah.
Yeah, mine was at my door earlier.
It's like, hello, let me in. I have my book coming out in August. Above is the title, and the cover's so great. It was done by a really amazing girl that I met when she did character art for my other series, and I was like, do you ever do book covers? She's like, no, and I was like, you want to do mine? And that's how I got my special edition cover artist too. I was like, you ever do book covers? She's like, no. I was like, you want to do mine? And I just met so many gems that way. But she's so amazing. You should follow her because I swear to you, these artists sell my books more than I do. Genuinely, they do. This is what my special edition for book 1 looks like. She sells more books than I do. But she's really amazing. I'm really excited. And that's called Above, and that's going to be available everywhere. Right now, ARCs are still open. They'll be closing soon because they're going to go out we're thinking about doing 2 waves. So the first wave will probably be August 1st, somewhere around there. And so I'm really excited about that. You can sign up at the link in my Instagram, TikTok bio. It's all I just changed it, author Brea Lamb. And then the Coveted series, you can find that everywhere. Again, thanks to Ingram Spark. They're anywhere you could pretty much buy a book. They are available on KU, and I open up my website the first week of every month. So it's like that first 7 days of every month, you can get them there too.
My books are available pretty much any major e-tailer, anywhere you can buy online. They're also in KU, so easy to find. I don't have any major release news just yet, but I will say that book three's title release and cover reveal will be coming before the end of the year. So in the next 6 months, there will be a book three title. It will have a name. It has a name already. I'm just not telling anyone. Holding it to myself for right now.
Keeping it.
It's my baby. No one can hold it.
You know, we all do that, don't we? We all like hold on to stuff. I keep remembering, like, I've had the cover for the second book for so long. Like, I am just now also like art. Like, there's an art I'm revealing this month that I've had since like, well, no, last month it was July. I've had since last July. And like this one I've had for like 6 months now. I've just been sitting on it. And I'm just like,
you guys do that.
I've had the cover for months, almost a year now. It's just been sitting.
Oh my God. I envy that.
I often just sit on news and let it stew in my head. But if you did want to find my books or subscribe to my newsletter, it's marietkay.com. So you can find me there and find out the name of the third book when I decide that I'm going to reveal it.
You can follow me on Instagram, author Monica Amore. I have a lot of like aesthetic reels and stuff like that. I try to make my page interesting as well, but you can also get my books on Kindle Unlimited, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and I have 2 audiobooks coming out. I don't know any news yet as far as like release, but it's in the works, and I'm so excited for that because I have been dying to give my readers Fiona and Callion's voice. Like, we need to hear them, so I'm really excited about that. I have a special edition of A Flame Under the Moon being made, hopefully. Still working it, but I'm excited. I'm like really hoping I can bring that to Villains and Vixens. And I think that's it. I do have a newsletter, but I'm really terrible at that, I'll be honest. Like maybe once a month.
Thank you everyone for joining us again. This was so much fun. Fantastic. We cannot wait to meet everyone in September.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having us. I can't wait to meet everybody. You guys are amazing.
My face is so red from like how excited I am. I seriously, I am so excited. And thank you. Like from the reader bottom of my heart, I'm so grateful we got to sit down with you guys. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you for having us. Thank you for organizing this. This was lovely.
Yeah. Well, that was so much fun. We cannot wait to meet everyone in Texas this September, which is coming up so quickly. I am so happy that everyone agreed to sit down and chat with us. Such amazing authors, their experiences, their characters. We love them all. So again, thank you for joining us. Check out all of their books. I think everybody is on Kindle Unlimited. So if you are a KU reader, definitely check them out. But as always, remember to read what you want and don't be a dick.